political earthquake just hit the New York City. Zohran Mamdani has become first Muslim mayor of New York City after defeating Trump-backed rivals and also Andrew Cuomo, who is considered as the political heavyweight in the American politics. So what does basically this Mamdani moment means? Not only for the New York City, but also for the entire America, especially in the Trump second term. Let us try to decode it in more detail. Now, first of all, to give you an idea about the brief context, so we know that mayoral elections in New York City is something that continuously was making headlines not only in US but also in the Indian newspapers. And one reason behind this was because Zohran Mamdani was born to Indian citizens or Indian origin parents, and that also in the Uganda, which is a country in Africa as such. So first of all, if we talk about this entire election, it was an early test of what you can call as Trump's second term, because Trump has openly not only backed Mamdani's rivals, but also has taken a dig on Mamdani, has used many such controversial statements against him, and this also was something that was put on test on the ballot paper. Local ballots were held across the major state. Key races were seen in many of the cities of New York State, such as New York City, Virginia, New Jersey, and all. The voter turnout was very high as compared to the earlier elections, and the New York City itself, we have seen a turnout of more than 1.45 million electoral success. Democratic resurgence has been observed in the multiple states. This also might be pointing toward the general discontent and dissatisfaction people have toward Trump's administration. Now, if we talk about Mamdani slightly, we know that Zohran Mamdani, he's a 34-year-old socialist, we can say, as far as the political ideology is concerned. He was born in Uganda to Indian origin parents that were Meera Nair, a well-known filmmaker, and Mahmood Mamdani. Then the family moved to US and when Mamdani was of 7 years of age, and since 2018 he has received citizenship of the United States of America. Before that, he also has some, we can say, experience in politics, as he was former foreclosure counselor and community activist. He was then elected to the New York State Assembly from the Queen's seat in 2018, and he is known as a socialist progressive voice in the political circle. If you try to understand that what might have catapulted the win of Mamdani, this we can understand by looking at the campaign promises that he made. He had focused on the life of ordinary New Yorkers, and that is why he has talked about ensuring affordability and equality for all. For example, he talked about struggles that people on a daily basis face. This can be in form of transportation due to the increase or the hike in the fuel cost. So he talked about free city bus travel that would also have found support in daily commuters. Second, he has also talked about city-run grocery store where the prices of grocery, that is again something we can say essential for survival. And in the recent times, people of New York are very unsatisfied because of the sudden increase in the prices, and that also would have resonated with the people of the state as such. Then universal childcare, focusing upon the healthcare. And if you look at the US entire healthcare system, we know that across the entire world, US is known for highest expenditure, highest expenses as far as the healthcare is concerned. And if you do not have insurance, it becomes very difficult for people to get admitted to and get treated in a good hospitals as such. This also is one of the reasons why he might have found support. Then expanded rent control, he has talked about, as rent has seen a surge in the recent few years, especially after COVID. And because of this, his movement also was not focused or not something that we can say was elitist in nature. He, on the other hand, went with the public, he went in the crowd itself, he went to carry out door-to-door outreach and campaign, and he was able to start his political campaign and also further continue it, carry it at a grassroots level. Because of this also, he also received strong youth support, and his campaign was backed by the full force of digital media. So all this together would have worked or might have worked in his favor as well. As far as the political opposition controversy is concerned, before the elections, we have seen fierce attacks from the Trump, from business leads, from conservative media. For example, recently Elon Musk also has tweeted against Mamdani and has asked people to basically elect other candidates, and allegations about Jew hater, communist, and a kind of, we can say, polarizing remark, and also we can say some sort of Islamophobic remark we have seen coming from the Trump's administration against Mamdani as such. All this would also have caused kind of cohesion around him, especially people who are more of a liberal nature. Opposition funding we have seen from business leaders such as Bill Ackman, minimal support from the centrist Democrat on the other hand we also have seen as far as the Mamdani is concerned. Despite all these, he has achieved a high margin win as such. Now, before moving forward, I would want to bring your attention to the fact that Legacy CS Academy, we are going to soon commence batches. The weekend batches are going to start on the 6th of December. The weekdays batches are going to start on 10th of November and 15th of December as such. Now, in these batches, we ensure comprehensive coverage of GS paper, one-to-one mentorship and doubt solving sessions. We encourage students to have regular interactions with faculties, educators, to have proper approach to tackle the examination. And as you know that UPSC require integrated approach right from the beginning, whether it is prelims, mains, and interview, and that is where daily mains, answer writing practice, and test regions play a vital role as such. If you want to know more detail about the programs and features, you can give a call. The number being displayed here. You can also download our app, or you can click the link in the description box of this video to have a better understanding. Now, again, the question that might be coming into your mind is how or why Mamdani won. So there are several reasons, few of them already have discussed, but the major reason we can say is the economic appeal he had amongst the masses, because his direct focus was on cutting the cost of living and ensuring public welfare, and this is the trigger point that would have resonated with the public as such. Then grassroots mobilization, digital strategy, because today we know, especially talk about the youth population, he was able to mobilize youth around himself who were not only participating in the election campaign, who were not only supporting him on digital media, but they were also the ones who went out and cast their vote as such. So because of this youth engagement in social media, you also have seen turnout ratio becoming better as such. Overall, we can say that before also Mamdani gave a new kind of face to the local politics, because whether it is Republican or whether it is earlier Democrats, people were not happy with the status quo, because Cuomo were already Andrew Cuomo, who was earlier mayor and governor also. So people were fatigued, experiencing Cuomo fatigue. They are also kind of a wave that we can refer as anti-incumbency or anti-establishment wave as such. Plus Cuomo, apart from that, if you talk about Mamdani, he might also have received support of minorities and working class, and this ragtag group of people would have formed a solid coalition, and across the entire borough, we can see people have come out in his support and has voted for him. Apart from that, also his campaign was not something that looked phony in nature. His campaign was not some overbearing promises that people felt that could not be fulfilled. Rather, his campaign was focused upon authenticity and connecting with people as such. It was more informal and approachable in nature. That means anyone can go and meet Mamdani. He was walking on the street. While walking on the street itself, he was able to talk with people and were able to understand their problem, and by this he has managed and calibrated his campaign approaches. There is diverse coalition, as we can see, because New York City, talk about, and the entire New York state itself is made up of diverse group of people, especially you have immigrants, progressive, young voters, and his campaign was also in contrast with the elitist this campaign, we can say. Plus he had symbolic resonance also, as he is the first Muslim to basically win this particular election. He had immigrant background that would have caused people who are immigrant to New York come in his support. So he is representing these groups also. Plus there is a weak opposition unity that we have seen, because there is a divided centrist and right wing even within Republican Party also. Now the question that comes, that now Mamdani has become the first Muslim mayor of New York City, and what does it basically mean for the New York City as such? So first of all, we'll see definitely a shift in the policy, which will drift more toward progressive approach, because his focus again is on welfare, affordability, and public ownership. At the same time, this also has created a big crack or gap in the political scenarios of the New York itself. We can see the polarization in the next years, or next what we call as in coming days, is going to further increase, as he'll have to clash with the business elites as well as Trump administration as such. Urban experiment, talk about New York City, has become an emerged as testing ground for the leftist governance in the United States that seem to be taking root as far as this particular election is concerned. Apart from that, also this fight was not only about winning a mayor election, this fight was also about identity and inclusion that seems to be threatened in the Trump 2.0 administration in the United States of America. Now this also, the winning of Mamdani, it clearly sent a signal about the broader acceptance of multicultural leadership and the broader acceptance of the American, what you can call as culture as such. Challenge, however, will obviously be to balance ideology with the practical governance and such. So to what extent Mamdani becomes successful, we'll have to wait and watch and see that whether he is able to fulfill the promises he made to his electorate or not. Broader implications also we can see on the American politics, because Democratic Party clearly seem to be splitting along the ideological divide, where on the one hand you have the Democratic Party members who are more toward leftist in nature, and the other hand you have the moderate Democrats. So the win of Mamdani is clearly a win for the left wing, or left wing of the Democratic Party. Second, there is resurgence of grassroots socialism in US cities, and this is something that also we can see being reflected here as a result of the election. A new chapter in Indian origin political representation we can see also taking shape. Before also we can see in different areas of US, Indian origin politicians have secured political offices, but as far as the largest city, big cities such as New York is concerned, it is for the first time that Mamdani, a person like Mamdani, has been elected here. It signals public fatigue with elite politics, and it might be, again, it is a stretchable thing to say, but it might be a possible trend setter for 2026 midterms, where Democrats might surprise and might be able to, what you can call as, come ahead as far as the Republican Party is concerned. That is all about this particular video. If you like the video, please hit the like button, share with aspirants, and subscribe channel for more content. Thank you very much.